Hey guys, it's me, Miss Mills, and welcome to Miss Mills Math Time. The whole point of this video is to help you out with rotations on a coordinate plane. So what's happening here is we've talked about translations, we've talked about reflections. Now we're going to talk about rotations on a coordinate plane. Again, these are going to be similar. This assignment's going to be similar to what you were doing before. I'm introducing you to the concept, so it's going to be kind of like our notes, but there's going to be some things that are going to be up to you to complete. That'll be your homework, and then you can move on to tomorrow's lessons, which is going to be, we're going to talk about a little bit by dilations, but we won't be able to get into it as much as I wanted to, but we will get an introduction to it. But today, we're focusing on rotations on a coordinate plane. I have already made this video, and I made the whole entire video with this microphone turned off, so you actually could not hear a word I said. So I'm kind of upset about that. But it's not a big deal. I'm going to make the video again, and it's going to be better than the video I made before. I hope. Let's go. All right. So rotations. First things first, a rotation is a figure that turns around a fixed point called the center of rotation. Think about it this way. Analog clocks. If you've ever seen one of those, which I bet y'all have, it's one of these clocks. The clocks, all the arms on a clock, they move around a center of rotation, which is right here, and they go clockwise. There's a way that they go clockwise, which is this direction. All right, so when I say something needs to go clockwise, okay, if you ever forget which way is clockwise and which way is counterclockwise, find an analog clock. It'll tell you which direction is clockwise. And then the opposite way would be counterclockwise. And we'll focus on that today. And you need to know the difference between clockwise and counterclockwise when we're rotating shapes. For examples that we're using, our center of rotation will always be the origin of a coordinate plane. So we're going to have a coordinate plane here, okay, on all of our problems. And we will rotate our shape in increments of 90 degrees. So 90 degrees is moving from one quadrant and moving to the next quadrant. That would be 90-degree rotation. If we move it one more time, that would be 180-degree rotation to the next quadrant. And then if we rotate it again, that's 270 degrees. And then last but certainly not least, if we moved it one more time, we are back to where the image originally was. That will be 360 degrees. So each quadrant is 90 degrees in a rotation, okay? So again, if we had a shape here and this was our starting point and we were going clockwise, wait, did I go the right way? Yeah, clockwise. It's opposite from what I'm doing it to what y'all see. If we start here, we go clockwise. We start from this image stays here, and then clockwise we go 90 degrees into the next quadrant. Then we would move to our next quadrant. That would be 180 degrees. And then one more time would be 270 degrees if we were going clockwise. If we were going counterclockwise and we were starting here, it would go the opposite direction, as you can see. We would start with 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees. That would stay the same. 270 degrees, and then again 360s back at the original location. Again, know the difference between clockwise and counterclockwise. And if you ever need help, look at an analog clock. It'll help you out. All right, so we're going to practice talking about the different types of rotations. I'm going to say clockwise a lot in this video, so you'll just have to deal with it. Let's look at our pre-image real quick. Here's our pre-image. Here's our image. We know that because it has the prime next to the letter. So we have our image and we moved it over here or we have our pre-image and we moved it over here to have our new image. All right, so we need to talk about how many number of degrees did each happened in this rotation. And first one's clockwise. So from here to here, remember clockwise is moving in this direction. So we moved from here to here. How many degrees did we move? Well, we moved from this quadrant. We just moved one quadrant over. Remember, one quadrant over is just going to be 90 degrees. But if we were going counterclockwise, so if we started with our pre-image here and we went the opposite direction, we need to count. How many degrees did we move our image? Well, we moved it, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and then we finally are at our image here. We moved it a total of 270 degrees counterclockwise, all right? I did this one. Your job is to make sure you complete this one right here. Here's your pre-image. We moved our image over here. You need to tell me clockwise how many degrees did we move, and then counterclockwise how many degrees did we move. It is your job to complete that one. All right. Next thing we're doing is we are going to review, or not review. I'm going to introduce you to the rules of what happens to a shape when you rotate it 200 or 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. There are rules, okay? And no matter where you rotate it, the same rule is always going to apply. So for example, if we're focusing on our C right here and we moved it like all these times, I can already tell you what those new degrees are going to be because I know the rules and you're about to know the rules as well. So let's talk about them real quick. This part of the notes is going to be with slide 5 and slide 6 together. So first things first, here is our pre-image. Okay, here it is right here. We are moving it 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and then 270 degrees. And we're going to write down all of our new points. And then we're going to say algebraically what happened and then what happened in our own words. And again, the rules are going to apply for all of these. No matter if you're rotating images at home or anything like that, the rules will always still apply. So it'll help you out. So first things first, let's talk about 90-degree rotation. So here's our image, pre-image. We moved it here. We need to write down all of our new coordinates for A prime, B prime, and C prime. Let's look at A prime first, though. A prime is on the coordinate plane is at 1, -2. So right here, I need to write down, hey, A prime is at 1, -2 when we moved it 90 degrees. Let's look at B now. So B prime is now at 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is at 1, -6. Now let's look at C prime. C prime is at is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is at 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. So it's at 7, -4. All right. So now we need to look at the differences between our pre-image coordinates and our, after we moved it 90 degrees coordinates, our image where we moved it, the new coordinates. So all of them show a pattern. Our X and Y values, they swapped. And then our second number switched signs. And that happened for all of them. So algebraically, this is what happened. First off, remember, an ordered pair is always an X and a Y value, okay? So when I say that they flipped, I'm going to say that, my Y went first and my X went second, okay? So they swapped. So algebraically, that's what happened. And then the second thing that happened, our X value, our new X value, became its opposite. It swapped signs. So to represent that, I'm going to put a negative in front of that X. Okay, so algebraically, our numbers flipped, and then our second number switched its sign. And now we need to write that in our own words, okay? The X and Y value switched, and then our X value became its opposite. It switched signs, or however you want to say that, okay? All right, so now 180 degrees clockwise or 180 degrees counterclockwise. What happened to our image? So from here to 180 degrees is here. What happened to our coordinates? Well, let's look at A prime now first. A prime is at -2, -1. So what we're seeing is that our X and Y value, they stay the same, but the signs are going to switch. And let's see if that's a pattern for the rest of these real quick. Let's find B prime real quick. It's at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -6 and 1. Okay. -6 and -1, sorry. -6, -1. So far, so good. The pattern still stays. Now let's check C to make sure. We are at -4 and then -7. It did. All right, so now we need to talk about algebraically what happened. Well, first off, our X and Y value, they stayed in the same place, all right? But as you can see, all of them became its opposite. They all switch signs. So to represent that, we're going to put a negative in front of the x and in front of the y to say, hey, the x and y values, they swap signs. All right. And then again, we need to say that in our own words. The x and y values switched signs. All right, but last but not least, let's talk about 270 degrees clockwise or 90 degrees counterclockwise. What happened to our ordered pairs? So from this image, our pre-image right here, moved here, what happened? All right, let's look at A prime first. So A prime is at -1, +2. All right, so according to this, our B should be -1, +6. Let's check. All right, so B is at -1, +6. Okay, good. According to this, this should be -7 and +4. So let's check. First off, C is at -7 and then +4. Good. All right, so here's what happened algebraically here. First, again, our x and y values, they swapped again, so we need to say that. Our x and y values swapped again. And then this time, our y value, it swapped signs. So we need to say, hey, that became its opposite. The y value switched signs. We need to say that in our own words. The x and y value switched. Y value became its opposite. All right. Its opposite. Should be it is. All right. So algebraically, this is what happened, and then we have what happened in our own words. Here's your job now. Your job is to complete slide number 7. It gives you your pre-image, and then it tells you what happened to that image. And you need to tell me what type of rotation happened based off of the rules that we discovered here. All right, so your job is to make sure you complete the second problem on slide number 4. Tell me clockwise how many degrees it took for our image to move over here, and then tell me how many degrees it moved for it to go counterclockwise. And then finish number 7 for me. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.